I would like to say Tashintele to all the viewers, and I'm happy to say a few words in this because we all are followers of the Buddha and we all practice the Buddha Dharma. So I'm happy to share my thoughts and my view in this channel, which is organized by International Tibetan Buddhist Study, under which this specific group is called Taiwan Tibetan Buddhism TV. So I would like to thank this association for giving me an opportunity to say a few words. And generally speaking, we all know that we wish to gain happiness. Oneself wish to gain happiness. Similarly, all the beings also has the same wish to gain happiness, and oneself wish to remove suffering. Similarly, all the beings also has the same wish to remove the suffering. So, therefore, we all have the common goal to achieve, and at such time, if we ignore others' welfare and if we just emphasize on one's own welfare, then it is not right. So we must do something to benefit others or to make others happy and to liberate them from suffering. So our main goal is to lead the sentient beings from suffering and dissatisfaction to temporary and ultimate happiness. And to achieve happiness, generally speaking, all the beings are putting effort to achieve happiness, but most of them don't know the right cause of happiness and right cause of suffering. So due to their ignorance, they wish to gain happiness, but they engage in non-virtuous deeds. They wish to remove suffering, but they don't remove the cause of suffering. So due to this, we are still in this world or in this samsara and experiencing more and more suffering. So people are putting effort mainly to develop the material world. It is important to have a material world to be developed, but it is not the main cause of gaining inner peace or happiness. We all can see in the last few decades there has been significant improvement in the material world, but it doesn't mean that nowadays people are more happier. Nowadays we can't say there are less people who are sick, or there are less people who are suffering from birth and death. Still, there are lots of suffering. Still, there are lots of problems. So, it means the main cause of gaining inner peace is not through material development. The main peace should come from the inner development. Generally speaking, there are three actions: physical actions, verbal actions, and mental actions. out of these three, the most important action is our mental action. If we do physical and verbal virtue states or Dharma activities, but deep in our mind, if we don't have the right motivation, then such activities is not so much effective. So when we do our Dharma practice or Dharma activities, if we just focus on our physical and verbal activities and ignore about developing the right intention or motivation, then it won't have a great effect. It won't be the right remedy to remove defilements. It won't be the direct cause to gain inner happiness or ultimate happiness or to attain the enlightenment state. So out of these three actions, the main action or the most important action is the mental action. So therefore, we must emphasize on our mental activities. Although physical and verbal Dharma activities are important, but most important activity is our mental activity. So therefore, we must emphasize on developing our mental Dharma activities. So to develop this, we need to develop positive mind. We need to develop basic positive thoughts, such as thought of renunciation, infinite loving kindness, infinite compassion, faith, and to believe in the rebirth. First and foremost, we need to believe in the rebirth. We need to believe in the law of karma or the cause and effect. If you don't believe in the law of karma, then it means we are not Buddhists. All Buddhists believe in the law of karma and also in the rebirth. So this rebirth is very important. If there's no rebirth, then there's no pure cause and effect. So we must believe in the rebirth. Rebirth means life before this and life after this. It is there because our body is not caused by external factors or physical factors. The main cause is our previous mind. So this present life's mind is caused by our previous mind. The main cause of the mind is previous mind. Mind cannot be developed through external factors. Mind cannot be generated or cultivated through external factors. The mind should be developed by our previous moments of the minds. So we have this continuity of our mind, and due to this, we can say that there is a life before this, and when we die, our body will be disposed in one way or another, but we can't dispose our mind as we dispose our body by burning or by burying or by throwing in the water, etc. So mind will continue after this life. So there's a mind before this life and after this life. So it means there is a rebirth. This is important. If there's no rebirth, then there's no law of karma, which means if we do good things, then we will have a good future in this life or in the next life. And if we do bad things, we will face the consequence in this life or in the next lives. So we must believe in the rebirth, and then also we must believe in the law of karma. Law of karma is something which is very fair to all the beings without any exception, without any differentiation. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are a high person or low person, whether you are famous or not, each and every sentient being has the right to experience the result of our own actions. If we did a good action, then it is obvious that we will gain the result of our good deeds, which is to experience happiness. And if we do something bad, then as a result of such action, we will face the consequence, which is to experience the suffering. So whether you are poor or rich, whether you are low or high, no matter whatever person you are, we all have the equal right to experience the result of our action. So it is fair to everybody. There's no bias, no prejudice. It is equal to all the sentient beings. And if someone tries to do bad actions without disclosing to others, then it will still have the severe consequence. For example, if someone takes poison in front of people or by himself or herself without disclosing to others, no matter how they take this poison or where they take this poison, it will have some effect. It is not like if we take poison in front of people, then we will have the effect, and if we take the poison secretly, then we will not have the effect. It is not like this. We will have the effect of taking the poison no matter we take in front of people or secretly. So similarly, if we do bad things, then it will have the consequence, which is to experience suffering. No matter whether we disclose or not, it will have the consequence. So we can deceive ordinary people. We can deceive other ordinary people through our physical behavior and verbal expressions. But we can't deceive law of karma. Law of karma is fair, like taking poison in front of people or not does not matter. It will have the same effect. Similarly, no matter wherever we did the mistake or non-virtues, it will have the consequence. So we can't deceive law of karma. We can deceive ordinary people, but we can't deceive law of karma. So therefore, we should emphasize to do good things and try to abstain from doing wrong actions. So therefore, the main action or the activity is our mental activity. So our belief in the rebirth and law of karma is important. Then based on these two thoughts, then we need to cultivate, we need to develop our positive mind. Positive mind such as loving kindness and compassion. Loving kindness means wishing all the beings to gain happiness, wishing all the beings to perform virtuous deeds which are cause of genuine happiness. So it is not difficult to understand the meaning of this thought, but it is not easy for us to apply this thought into our daily life. So therefore, we must put effort, we must emphasize to apply this into our daily life. If we can practice our loving kindness at any time, anywhere, to any being, then it means we have this great loving kindness. And then also we need to develop great compassion. Great compassion means wishing all the beings to be free from suffering, wishing all the beings to be free from doing negative actions. So we should have these positive thoughts, and not only we should have these positive thoughts, but also we should materialize these meaning by doing virtuous deeds by oneself and also influencing others to do virtuous deeds. And also one should remove suffering, and also one should influence others to remove suffering. So mainly we should focus on others' welfare. So we should remove others' suffering before removing oneself. If we can remove others' suffering, then naturally we can remove our suffering. So it is important to develop these two positive thoughts, and to materialize it, we need to do virtuous deeds which are cause of happiness. So when we say we need to do virtuous deeds, as I said before, we should not only emphasize on doing physical and verbal virtuous deeds. Mainly we should focus on our mental virtuous deeds. If our physical and verbal virtuous deeds are motivated by right intention or right motivation, then such Dharma activity will be the direct remedy or antidote to remove suffering, and such will be the direct cause to gain or to attain ultimate state or the Buddhahood. So we should not do superficial virtuous deeds or Dharma activities, which means for the sake of this life, if we do physical and verbal Dharma activities, then such action is a superficial virtuous deeds, because at that time our intention is not right. So such action is not real or not genuine Dharma activities. It is just a superficial Dharma activities. So we must focus and we must emphasize to do a genuine Dharma activities which is motivated by right intention or right motivation. So with right motivation, then we need to help others. We need to take care of other sentient beings. Generally, we need to look after all the sentient beings, especially all our human brothers and sisters. We all are in one big human family, so we should not hate each other. We should not harm each other. Not only human beings, we should not harm any sentient beings. We should not cause suffering to any of the sentient beings, because we are born in this world or this samsara not only one time. We have been in this samsara infinite times, and whenever we are born in this samsara, we will not have the same parents again and again. Our parents will change, but our mental continuum will not change. We will have the same mental continuum, but our physical body will be changed, our parents will be changed, but our mental continuum will continue without ceasing. So through this we can prove that all the beings has been our dear parents in this life or in the past lifetimes. So for example, our present parents are very important to us, very kind to us, because they are the ones who gave us this precious body. And through this precious human life, we are able to study the Buddha Dharma. We are able to help more beings. We have the potency to help more beings than any other sentient beings. And not only they gave us this precious human life, but also they have guided us, they have advised us, they have taken care of us when we are infant, when we are child, when we are grown up. So they look after us all the time. So we need to repay the kindness of our dear parents. Similarly, we need to repay the kindness of our past lives parents, just as we need to repay the kindness of our present dear parents. So the best way to repay the kindness is not through giving material gifts. The best way to repay the kindness is through Dharma activities, through loving kindness, through compassion, through wishing bodhicitta, and through engaging bodhicitta. So therefore, we must practice these positive thoughts by ourselves, and also we need to ask others to develop these positive thoughts. So because all of them are our dear parents, we need to look after their welfare and well-being. We need to benefit them. And another reason is that, as I said before, we all have common goal to achieve. Because of this, we need to benefit the sentient beings. We need to look after the sentient beings. So it is important to know the reason why we have to repay this kindness. So the reason is, as I mentioned earlier, one is all of them are our dear parents or close friends or close ones, and another is all of them has a common goal to achieve. All of them has the same wish or same goal to achieve. So it is important to stay in harmony, to stay in peace. So peace and harmony should come from our mind, not only through our physical and verbal activities. If our mind is stubborn, if our mind is associating with anger, then there won't be peace at any time. So it is important to calm down. It is important to develop positive minds, positive thought. So loving kindness and compassion are very important. And also one of the main things is to develop the thought of renunciation, which means a genuine wish to liberate from whole samsara. This is one of the most important practice in the Buddha Dharma, because if you don't have this thought, then no matter whatever practice that we do, we are aiming to gain mundane benefits. We are not aiming something that is beyond this world or beyond this samsara. So therefore, we must cultivate this thought of renunciation, because Lord Buddha's teaching is very precious and very profound. And the purpose of Lord Buddha's teaching is not to gain mundane benefits, or it is not a method to gain mundane benefits. It is a method to gain liberation from samsara and eventually to attain enlightenment state for the sake of all the sentient beings. So therefore, we must cultivate this thought of renunciation. In the teaching, it clearly says Buddha Dharma is not a method to gain mundane benefits. If we need to gain mundane benefits, then we should use mundane methods to gain mundane benefits. And we should not use precious Dharma as a method to gain mundane benefits. Dharma is not meant to gain mundane benefits. Dharma is meant to gain liberation and enlightenment state for the sake of all the sentient beings without any exception. So therefore, it is important to develop this thought of renunciation. And to develop this thought of renunciation, first we need to know the nature of the samsara. For example, in this world, there are many different countries, many different types of people, and some are developed countries and some are backward countries. But wherever we go, we will not find a single place where there is no suffering at all. So it clearly means the nature of this world is suffering. Similarly, the whole samsara is in the nature of suffering. So therefore, we should not have attachment towards this world or samsara. Although when we are in this samsara, we need to use these material things, but we should use these without having attachment, without having strong attachment. If we have a strong attachment, then we can't develop the wish to liberate from the samsara. So after knowing the whole samsara as suffering, then we need to develop the wish to liberate from whole samsara. And such wish is called the thought of renunciation. And this thought of renunciation is very, very important. So in short, if you don't believe in rebirth and low karma, then we are not Buddhists. And if you don't believe in the thought of renunciation, or if you don't develop the thought of renunciation, then still we will not become a Buddhist. because to become a Buddhist, we need to take refuge vow, and to take a refuge vow, we need to develop the thought of renunciation. Actually, there are different types of refuge vows. If we are taking refuge vow in order to gain mundane benefits, or if we are taking refuge in order to avoid our present life's suffering, etc., then through such intention we can gain refuge vow, but such refuge vow will not be a genuine refuge vow. So the genuine refuge vow means we need to receive the refuge vow by developing the thought of renunciation, or we need to receive the refuge vow which is motivated by the thought of renunciation. And if we receive the genuine refuge vow, then we become a Buddhist. And if we receive other type of refuge vow, then it won't make us a real Buddhist. So to become a genuine Buddhist, we need to receive genuine refuge vow, and to receive this, we need to develop the genuine thought of renunciation from whole samsara. So this thought of renunciation is very important. Then based on this, we need to develop loving kindness and compassion, and also faith is very important. In the sutra, it clearly says, for example, if a seed of a wheat is scorched by fire, then such seed, if we plant in the fertile ground, it won't grow, no matter how much effort that we put to look after it. It won't grow properly. It won't yield the crops or the result, because seed is not a sound seed. So similarly, if you don't have the faith, if you just learn the Buddha Dharma out of curiosity, or we learn Dharma as a mundane subject, or other subjects such as mathematics or other language, etc., if we have same perception, then it is not right. We should have faith in the Dharma. We should have devotion in the Dharma. So faith is very important. If you don't have sincere faith, then no matter how much practice that we do, it won't be a proper practice. So the basic Buddha's teaching is to believe in the rebirth, law of karma, thought of renunciation, loving kindness, compassion, faith, etc. These are basic practices that we need to do. Then based on these, then we also need to develop bodhicitta, or the enlightenment mind. Enlightenment mind has two main divisions: relative enlightenment mind and ultimate enlightenment mind. So at the moment, we need to focus on the relative enlightenment mind, which also has two types: the wishing enlightenment mind and the engaging enlightenment mind. So first, we need to develop the wishing enlightenment mind. Generally speaking, the sky has no limits. Similarly, sentient beings also has no limits, and all these limitless sentient beings are very dear to us. As I said before, all of them are one's own dear parents or close ones in this life or in the past lifetimes. So now it is time for us to repay their kindness, or to lead them from suffering and dissatisfaction to a temporary and ultimate happiness. And at the moment, we don't have the power to liberate all the sentient beings because we ourselves are bound by negative actions and defilements. Not only we don't have the power, but also the powerful mundane gods, they also don't have the full power. Now, who has the full power to liberate or to lead sentient beings? And the answer is the Lord Buddha has the full power or the ultimate power to liberate all the sentient beings. But at the moment, we can't receive this blessing because we don't practice properly. We don't have the proper intention or proper motivation, etc. Well, we don't have the basic Buddhist practice. Because of this, we can't receive Buddha's blessing. If we have these basic Buddhist practices, then definitely we can receive Buddha's power, Buddha's blessing. So, in order to liberate all the sentient beings, we need to attain Buddhahood. And this wish to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all the sentient beings is called the wishing bodhicitta. And then the next one is called engaging bodhicitta, which means in order to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all the sentient beings, we need to engage in Dhamma practice through our physical, verbal, and mental actions. As I said before, mainly through our mental actions. So this is the wishing and engaging bodhicitta. So as a Buddhist, these are basic practices, and also one of the main Buddhist practice is, one of the main basic Buddhist practice is refuge, taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. We need to take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha from this time until our self attains Buddhahood, not for one's own sake, but for the sake of all the sentient beings. And why we have to take refuge? The reason is that we have fear of experiencing the suffering of samsara. Because of this fear, we are taking refuge. And also because we have the faith and we have the great compassion towards all the sentient beings. Because of these reasons, we are taking refuge. So if I say in order, first it is important to believe in the rebirth, then law of karma, then we need to practice thoughtful renunciation, loving kindness, compassion, and then also we need to develop, or we need to practice refuge, and then wishing bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta. So these are the basic Buddhist practices that we need to do. And based on this, then we should do the main practice. Then at the end, we should dedicate all our past and present merits to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all the sentient beings. So with this, I conclude my short talk here. And at the end, may the blessings of Lord Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha be with you now and always. Thank you. First, Sakya means grey earth. In that place, there is a big white patch on the mountain, and because of this, the place is called Sakya. And on this place, the Sakya school was established, so therefore, the school is also named after this So our school is called Sakya. And we say the Sakya is holder of 4 translators teaching. The 4 translators or Lotawa are like Padi Lotawa and Dokmi Lotawa, Mal Lotawa, etc. So Sakya is a holder of these Lotawas teaching. And Sakya is established in 1073 AD. First, it is established by Kankancho Gyalpa, and then later it was flourished by the great Sachin Gunga Nyingbo and his lineage. The main 5 masters that flourished this Sakya school is called the Sachin Gunga Nyingbo, Lobe Rinpoche Sonam Tsemo, Jeju Rinpoche Thakpa Gyaltsen, Cheja Sakya Pentita, and Dogon Chogyal Paba. We call these as the 5 founding masters. So from then, that time onwards, our lineage has been passed down up until now through an unbroken lineage. And the Sakya school has many teachings, instructions, blessings, and empowerments. And as I said before, our teaching came through India through these Lotawas or translators. So if we trace back, then our main Indian masters are like Mahasiddha Virupa and other great masters. So actually there are many Pita instructions and etc. But main thing is Lamde, which means path including its result. So this is the main teaching that we practice, and we also practice other teachings such as Vajrayogini and others. So these are very important practice in our Sakya school, and we emphasize on teaching, and also we emphasize on meditation. So actually the general structure is like based on pure moral conduct, then we should study, contemplate, and then meditate. So we do this mainly on the sutra, and then after that, then we need to study, contemplate, and meditate on the Vajrayana, mainly on Lamde teaching. Lamde teaching is special teaching of the Sakya school, which has been came down through Mahasiddha Virupa and Krishnapa, Dhammarupa, Avaduti, Gayatara. And first there are 5 Indian masters, then it passed down to Tibetan master, first to Dongmi Lotsawa, then to Saturn Kurik, then to Shangden Chebar, then to Sachin Kunga Nyingpo. So through this, we have been keeping this lineage. And also there's a short lineage of this Lamde teaching, which means through the power of practice, Sachin Kunga Nyingpo saw Mahasiddha Virupa in Sakya, and Mahasiddha Virupa stayed in Sakya for 1 month and gave not only whole Lamde teaching, but also many other empowerments and instructions. So in reality, Sachin Kunga Nyingpo and other 4 founding masters are all manifestation of Arya Manjushri, Arya Avalokiteshvara, etc. But for the eyes of common people, they appear as a human being and they live as a human being. They practice as a human being. So this is to set an example for ordinary people, how an ordinary people can practice and gain liberation or attainments. So with this, I conclude talking about the Sakya school. As we know that there are 4 schools of Tibetan Buddhism. First, there's a Nyingma school was established in Tibet, and then later there's a Sakya school and Kagyu school, and then later there's a Gelugpa school. So these are the 4 schools of Tibetan Buddhism, for the 4 major schools of Tibetan Buddhism. And actually, all the Tibetan Buddhism, all the Buddhist teachings that we practice in our Tibetan Buddhism came from India. The source of teaching is from India, from Indian great masters. So all our authentic teachings, all are based on Buddha's teaching, and also we all have the same motivation, like total renunciation, loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta is something every Buddhism or every Tibetan Buddhism emphasize on. So we don't have differences in our motivation. And also we all talk about 2 truths or 4 noble truths. And also we all talk about accumulating merit heap and wisdom heap to attain Buddhahood. And also we all have the final goal to achieve. We all have the same final goal, or we all have the same ultimate goal to achieve, which is to attain Buddhahood for the sake of all the sentient beings without any exception. So from this point of view, there's no differences in the 4 schools of Tibetan Buddhism. So at the moment, the differences are, the lineage are different, and some emphasize more on this deity, some emphasize more on that deity, but generally speaking, all these deities are also in the same nature. The nature of all these deities are equal. There's no differences. So although we practice different deities, we emphasize on different deities, but it doesn't mean that we have different methods or we have very different practice, because all the nature of the deities are the same. So naturally, our practice of these deities should be same in nature. There's no differences. So therefore, this word called Rime or non-sectarian is very important for us. But at the same time, we are not saying we should practice all the 4 schools by one person. It is not easy to practice all these practices by one person. For example, one school cannot practice all the teachings of one school. So we should practice with whatever that is more suitable to us, whatever that is more easy to us to practice, or we should practice our deity which we have the karmic connection. Then based on this, we should respect all other schools. We should trust them. We should believe them. We should not criticize each other. We should not harm each other, because, as I said before, we all have same motivation, and we all have the true truths or merit and wisdom heap, and we all have ultimate goal to achieve it. Thank you.
阿弥陀佛，我是贡嘎仁波切，是台湾藏传佛教佛法网络电视台的会员，希望大家未来护持这个网络电视台。阿弥陀佛。